Yo, what's going on, everyone? C4IQ here with a podcast. Today, bit different. Obviously, I normally cover Marvel, Cross Taken. This is more of a topic-related one regarding KOF, and I've got JuiceBox on. If you want to say hello, dude, tell everyone a bit about yourself if they don't know. They should.
Huh. Okay, yeah. If you don't know who I am, it's okay. Haven't done much. Yeah, I'm JuiceBox. I'm a big fan of KOF XIII. I did relatively well at EVO for Street Fighter 4 for the past few years. I got 9th place, I got 13th place, 17th place. All that was with Abel and a little jury here and there. But I've moved on to a bigger game and, in my opinion, a better game. And, I suppose that's what you wanted to grill me about today.
Yeah, pretty much. If you know me, I'm kind of the person that will disagree with you just to see what you say, even though I might agree with you. So... yeah, just expect me to ask stupid questions like I will know the answer to. I just want to hear you say it. That's
all right. That's cool.
But yeah, basically, yeah, this podcast is going to be about I'm asking JuiceBox why he believes KOF is not as popular as the other games. Obviously, everyone's going to go Street Fighter 4 or any Marvel game really. Why it's just not as mainstream as it is. We talked a bit about it off the podcast. So I'll just let JuiceBox kind of just briefly go over what he said, and I'll go into more depth of it after that. So yeah, JuiceBox, just want to tell everyone, keep up to speed of what you said about the history of it as well.
Okay. Yeah, well, as far as KOF not being as popular as Street Fighter, the major reason is just because it doesn't have quite the history, and as far as the sales of this whole series, from going backwards. You've heard people say, well, why is KOF popular in Mexico? And some people will say, well, there were Neo Geo machines everywhere in Mexico. You have to ask, where were the Neo Geo machines in America? There were plenty. I mean, people have heard of Metal Slug and people have heard of some of these games, but just KOF just isn't as popular as Street Fighter, at least in the United States. Internationally, it's different. But me personally, I forgot about KOF after KOF 99. Until 12 came out, I forgot about it. I didn't see any of the ads. I didn't see any ads, and I didn't even see any copies of the games in store for any of the PS2 KOFs. None of the Maximum Impacts, 2000, and 3 and 4. I didn't even know that KOF was a thing. I forgot about it for a while. And then after 12 came out, I'm like, oh yeah, this was a thing. But
that was pretty much the same over here. It was,
yeah.
I mean. The only KOF stuff I knew was from CVS2 or Capcom vs SNK. It's Iori.
Yeah, exactly.
That's from KOF. I remember that. Kim. Oh yeah, wicked. But yeah, I don't think, especially you're saying over in America and definitely over here, it was only probably about 11, 12 KOF, and it was there's loads of characters in this game, not just Iori, Akuma. All that sort of stuff.
So, yeah, because that was all that I saw in CVS2, because they were the only decent ones.
Yeah, it's
Jeez,
it is pretty weird. I mean, it obviously it's at 13, so it's had a run in history. Probably longer, more of a run in history than Street Fighter 4. Considering game wise, playable games, because most of the KOFs have been playable. Where in Street Fighter, some of the Street Fighter games are just straight up booty juice. They're just crap. Fighting Jam, I'd say the EX series were pretty crap. They were fun, but tournament level, I don't believe they were that good. They were fun, but yeah.
Right, I got no comment. I didn't really play those a whole lot, but...
Skullomania, that's what I'm going to say. But, so obviously, if we touch upon what do you think about now? Because obviously everyone's seen KOF at EVO last year. Oh, this game's mad hype. This game's so sick. I'm going to get it. I'm going to play it. You could pick it up over here. You could pick it up for £15, which is probably $25 over there. People got it. I've got it. I'll go into the reason why I don't play it in a bit. But obviously, everyone is exposed to KOF now. No one has the reason why they don't know this game. So what do you think the reason is now that people aren't playing the game?
That's a tough one. I'll go through the basic ones. If people have heard of KOF and they have the ability to buy it and they still don't want to try it, it could be, there's a lot of hearsay, in the fighting game community. Well, I heard this, I heard that. A lot of people heard that KOF is hard, and quite frankly, it depends on your experience level. I think KOF is hard if the only game you have experience with is Street Fighter. Then it's hard. I think if you're brand new to fighting games, or if you've played some of the 3D games, or if you've played any of the other 2D games, you know, then maybe you will have more of a mind to accept the play style of KOF. Like, maybe it just has to do with people not having the right expectation of the game. Right. But, you know, when people say KOF is hard, they usually mean it from the sense of it's too fast or the motions need to be too precise. And, like, those are things that other fighting games have had. I mean, believe it or not, have you played Injustice at all?
I played it a lot in the beginning. I've kind of dropped off because of the updates are kind of bugging me a bit. But in the beginning, I played a lot with Flash, so yeah. So
do you turn on the alternate controls?
I didn't at first because I wanted to play it the way it was meant to be played, but then I did in the end.
And have you played any of the alternate controls characters that have a half circle?
Yeah, Flash. Yeah, he has a half circle.
So Flash is a half circle. So have you noticed that you have to hit all 5 points?
Yep.
Right. So there were some players when Injustice started, they're like, man, I don't like the alternate controls. You got to be precise. And I'm like, dude, you got to be precise in KOF too. You know, like maybe it's just the way they programmed it. They didn't have any input assistance or whatever for Injustice, but you know, Injustice with alternate controls, you got to hit all the points. Yeah. You know,
even though the standard format is literally back forward. When you turn alternate, then it's the half circle. So you're making it harder for yourself. It makes no sense. Like, that's what I wanted to play the way it was meant to. Because back forward is clearly an easier motion than doing a half circle. But it just felt easier to do that. And I was thinking that maybe the reason people don't play KOF, don't look at KOF and go, I can't play this, it's too hard, blah, 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 is because they've been kind of brainwashed by Capcom for, if it doesn't play like this, it's different, so it's going to be harder for people to adapt to. So like you said, if people just came straight into KOF, they wouldn't see it wouldn't be like a learning curve. It would just be starting from the beginning. They wouldn't have any pre-expectations of how the game should play.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you the word I hear all the time. Like, I'll say, hey, standing CD is a standing attack that knocks down on hit. It's not a trip. And they'll say, oh, that's weird. And I'm like, weird relative to what? You know what's weird? We're on a rock hurling through space. You know, that's freaking weird. You know, no, like standing CD like knocking down on a normal hit isn't weird. It's just different. And the fact that things are different, but people are calling them weird means that there's these baseline expectations that like KOF like isn't meeting, or it's just different, you know, and it's really annoying to have to deal with that. But I mean, there's other it's not just the execution. Some people, you know, are like, they're the sort of people where graphics are a big deal, and they don't like that it's still 2D sprites, even though they're really beautiful sprites.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know, some people, you know, they don't like that there's no team interaction and that it's 3 one-on-one fights, you know, in a row. Because they see that you get to pick 3 characters, and they say, oh, well, can I call assists? Or, I mean, there actually were KOFs in the past where you could pick a 4th character, and you could call them in as an assist, and they were called strikers, and that was around for a few games. But that's not true anymore, and it's just, you know, play one character and they die, and you play the next character and you go on. So some people expect it to be more of a team game when they hear you can pick 3 characters, and then, I mean, there's other stuff, but like those are the most common ones that I hear.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to CT about the whole team thing. I don't think KOF is a team game. I think it's more
absolutely not.
It's a strategy one-rounder. So you have 3 rounds, but you have to strategically place your characters in the optimal position for the opponent you're playing.
That's correct, yeah.
So obviously you do technically pick a team, but you just don't use them as a team. The reason I don't play a KOF, he's probably told you, and I don't know if I've told anyone else, but there is no 3rd character that I like. And that is literally... I only pick Kim and Shen. They're the only... I like Shen from the old games, and I like Kim from the old games, and I like Shen from KOFXIII. That's the only time I've played him. And none of the other characters appeal to me. Like, I haven't tried everyone, but I've tried most of the people. Like, I've tried all the charge characters, because I normally play charge characters in other games I play, and they just don't... It's not that they don't feel like Bison, because I played Bison... Well, I used to play Bison in Street Fighter 4. I don't play Street Fighter 4 anymore. But I play Bison across Tekken. And it's not that they don't feel like Bison, they just don't... I just don't like them, whether it be the look of their face, their backstory, or something like that. I just don't like any other character besides Kim and Shen. You're probably thinking that is a really lame excuse not to play the game. But if I could play the game with 2 characters, I would. But I clearly can't. So unless there's a cheat to double pick Kim, then I'll play it.
Okay. By the way, your mic cut out a little bit ago, but
Oh, shit, sorry. Oh no.
Yeah, that's fine.
What bits did you? No, you won't know what you missed, did you?
It cut back in when you said, and I play Kim and Shen.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, that's basically, yeah. Quickly just go over it. I said, the only reason I don't play KOF is because I only like 2 characters, Kim and Shen.
Kim and Shen.
Yeah, there's no other character in that game that appeals to me on, like, not in the fighting game sense, just more like a storyboard sense, though. It's a character like, oh, I like what he's done in his past, or I like the way that she looks, on that sort of sense. There's no characters besides them 2 that I don't pick, so...
well, you know, I don't think that's a terrible reason not to play a game, but, you know, if you're looking for characters, I do think that reading a bit into their backstory might be a helpful thing. You know, like, for example, did you know King had a little brother? You know, did you know she's a businesswoman? Did you know that, you know, she has a combination of Muay Thai and Sabate as her martial arts? Did you know, this, that, and the other? You know, there's plenty of stuff that isn't specifically in 13 that might make some of the characters more interesting to you. But, you know, not liking characters, I guess that's an okay reason not to play a game. I don't think that's an okay reason not to try a game, though. Like, I think you could try, like, obviously you've tried it, I think.
Yeah,
have you, like, played around with Kim or Shen at all?
Yep, I've tried, obviously because, to be fair, before it was at EVO, I had it, I just didn't play it, mainly because I had no one to play it with. So I went in training mode and I tried a couple of combos, and I really dislike online, like, a lot. The only time I go on online is when I want to try at tech or a setup. And obviously I've just sort of got back into KOF from like CVS and all that sort of stuff and SNK. So it's a different beast completely. So I'm just trying to work on my fundamentals, like, okay, what's the best poking tool? Is it okay to jump in from this base? Blah, 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 blah. So it's mainly like the combo and hitting people sort of aspect. So I don't really need to go online for that. But yeah, I've tried the combos with Kim and Shen, tried the HD combos and all that sort of stuff, the corner ones, the mid-screen ones, what's the most optimal stuff. But yeah, I just couldn't find the 3rd character. So I pretty much stopped playing it.
That's cool. You know, I can respect that. You know, like, not everyone is gonna, like, I mean, let me tell you this. I picked up KOF 13 because I thought the gameplay would be different. And it was. And then I hoped the gameplay would be deep. And it was. And then I hoped that I would be able to prove my skill and learn a bunch of characters, and, you know, I still am. You know, I'm still learning. You know, I'm still trying to prove my skill. So, you know, KOF 13 represents for me what I want in a fighting game. It may or may not for you, but, you know, if you can't find a 3rd character, you know, then, you know, that's gonna suck. But, you know, I picked it up for purely gameplay-related reasons. I didn't really know anything about the story or anything. I just, you know, I heard this game is better, and I want to try it. And so far it has been, and I keep playing it.
When you picked your characters, what was your thought process? Just like how they played or what you've seen from other people?
I just said, hey, these characters look cool. I actually was not really watching a whole lot of gameplay. When 13 came out, I saw a couple of match vids on the arcade version, and they were all using like K-Dash and Kula and Elizabeth and Raiden, and I'm just like, well, I know there's other characters. I'll try some other stuff. My very first team, like when I popped that disc in my Xbox the first time, the first team I picked was Andy, Robert, Vice.
Andy, okay.
Because I thought they all looked cool. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Andy. I remember playing Andy in like Fatal Fury.
Yeah. Like
a long time ago, and I said, hey, he's cool, you know, and then I saw Robert, and he's like, oh, dude with a vest. Dude's getting cool. And then I'm like, Vice, ooh, the sexy crazy chick in this game, all right. You know, so that was pretty much it, but then I branched out from there the more I learned.
And what team do you play now?
Right now, the team I would play in a tournament would be King, Takuma, and Leona.
Right. Do you pick that team because they're obviously, do they like fit your kind of normal play style if you're going to play any other fighting game, or is it because you feel like they work in KOF? Like if you wanted to get the win, these are the characters that are going to get it for you.
A little of both. Most players would not put any of those three in or near the top tier. Some of the Korean players believe King is like top 10. And I think a lot of good players would say King is one of the best point characters in the game, and I agree with that. But it also happens to be that actually King is a character that I have some history with. King was actually the very first SNK character I ever remember seeing.
Okay.
Like when I was an 8-year-old kid, I remember walking through like Castles and Coasters in Phoenix, Arizona. I was visiting my father, and I just remember seeing this really cool looking dude wearing this suit saying, "Come on, baby." And I'm just like, who is that? And
I must know.
When I grew up, I'm like, oh crap, that's King. Oh shit. So, I was happy to, sort of reunite with that character. And then after playing her a while, I learned, wow, she's really good at spacing. She's really fast. Yeah. She's got this hit and run style. I like using her slide, this, that, and the other. Like, there's some things with her that are easier than other characters, some things that are harder. Like, I ended up just really liking the way she played after saying, I like this character and I'll play her. Turns out she's also agreed to be highly effective. And Leona was a similar deal. I don't really have any history with Leona, but I said, hey, she looks cool. I heard she's difficult. That was the thing. I heard Leona was hard to play. So I'm like, all right, a challenge. I'll try it. And so I tried it, and I'm like, yeah, it's difficult, but I'm also noticing nobody plays her in tournament, and I want to figure out why. So I started to play her more and more, like in matches, and I'm like, I don't think she's anywhere near as bad as people say. What it was is, when KOF13 came out on console, there was a stream, and the first tier list in America came from The Answer, Bala, and Romance. They had like a talk in a hotel room.
Okay.
And they just made a quick little tier list, and they put Leona as absolute last.
Really?
That's where they put her. Now, the thing is, I think that they would agree, in hindsight, that she's not dead last.
No.
And the thing is, it would be very difficult to say who is dead last, because the game is very balanced. And I honestly don't know who it would be. My vote goes for Robert, ironically. But what I will say is Leona is underutilized partially because she has very difficult HT combos, and also because she doesn't really have a whole lot of easy stuff to do, like in close or long range. She's very much shall we say, a cerebral character. Like, you have to throw earrings when you consider certain risk. You have to charge down when you consider certain risk. You have to buffer the air super almost every time you jump. Like, there's things about her that there's plenty of that I can understand people wouldn't like. Mm-hmm. But the good thing about Leona is she has complete air. I like to say that Leona is air Cammy. She has air control. Like, if she's in the air, you cannot be in the air.
Yeah, you gotta respect it.
She's gonna super you, and she doesn't even have to be in the air. If she's not in the air, she can be holding down. And so, like, there's lots of ways that she can keep you out of the air, and if you're so scared against her that you won't move, then she throws the earring, and we've got this light sonic boom situation where she can move forward with this earring on the screen, and now you have to deal with it.
To touch up again, you were saying about, obviously, you believe KOF is balanced.
Yes.
I think, obviously, most people bitch about a game because they think, oh, it's broken, it's got this in it, it's stupid, I'm not going to play this. To you, what would you say makes KOF balanced? What aspects of it make it balanced?
What makes it balanced is that the system is the same for all characters. And here's what I mean by that. Let's say you block a jab. You have roughly 6 options after you block the jab. But not just characters with uppercuts can do 6 options. Everyone can do 6 options. One of the 6 would be a reversal. Now, not everyone has a meterless reversal, but even if you don't have one, you still have 5 other options rather than one, which would be reversal, right?
Right.
So the thing is, in a game like Street Fighter, there are various situations where the character you picked determines whether or not you have the proper tools to deal with certain scenarios. Yeah. The most common would be on Wake Up. But in KOF, there are no such scenarios. Every single character in almost every scenario you can think of has at least 3 options to deal with or avoid the damage of whatever you're thinking about. Every character. So, and this is why most matchups end up being 5-5. I would say that there are matchups in KOF, but they don't matter until you have a very, very good reaction time and very good understanding of both characters being played. Like, I would say there are some 6-4s. Like, a common one I'd say is like Maxima versus Kyo. Maxima's standing jab reaches so far forward and so high in the air, Kyo almost like can't jump at Maxima. And like once Kyo starts playing really cautiously, that's when Maxima can start using crouching hard kick, which reaches really deceptively far. That's when he can start throwing vapor cannons. That's when he can do hop CDs. There's various ways for Maximo to control the space without taking a whole lot of risk, but against other characters, he might need to take more risk.
Right.
But that,
No, keep going.
But, that's not something that really occurs until you reach top levels of play and until you understand all the options. And that's really what's going on. Like, there's a lot of people who will start playing KOF and they'll say, well, offense is too good. But they don't understand how many options they have on defense or how their defense can lead into offense, et cetera, et cetera. Another thing would be like the way projectiles are designed. Projectiles are designed so that if you block them all day, you'll build more meter than the other guy, and all they're getting is chip. And every single one can just be jumped in on, and pretty much every single fireball in the game, with only a couple exceptions, are going to be negative on block when done from close range. So with all these negatives, what are projectiles good for? Well, they're pretty much only good for annoyance unless you have a really slow one. And if you have a slow one, then you can follow it in and get offense. But there's lots of systems going on. There's universal systems with the way the guard gauge works, with how characters have all these same options, with how throw breaks work, with how rolls and guard canceling works. And once you understand all those systems, then you can play any character with the system in mind. The way I like to put it is, in Street Fighter, you learn a character and then you learn the game. But KOF is the other way. KOF, you gotta learn the game first. Once you know the game, then you can play any character.
Right, okay.
That's where the balance comes from. The balance comes from the fact that all characters are equipped to deal with all scenarios, so it mostly comes down to who makes the right reads.
So, basically, like, KOF is, like, more balanced. We'll just use SF4 because it's easy. Is more balanced because the mechanics give every character the same strengths and disadvantages. So, like, I remember when I first got into Cross Tekken, I thought sort of the same way you think about KOF. It's like, okay, if I'm in a situation, I can always alpha counter, no matter what character I pick. Mm-hmm. I can get out of pressure. I don't have to have an uppercut. Obviously, playing Bison, I fucking suffered in Street Fighter 4. It's like...
Right.
And that's mainly because of how people talk about Street Fighter 4. It's like, well, if you haven't got an up reversal, that automatically makes you a bad character. And it's like, alright.
Absolutely... Yeah.
it's crap. It is crap. Obviously, I was brainwashed because everyone was telling me this. Like, I wanted to get into the game, wanted to be good. And it's like, why don't I just wake up and block? Why is that not a good option? Everyone can do that. Why do I have to wake up and throw something at? Why does that determine if a character's good if they've got a reversal? The reversal can still be block. It's not an unblockable.
I can kind of answer that question too. Like, the reason people say that you need an uppercut to be good is because it's the only thing that beats both a throw and an attack. And to clarify, here's what I mean. Let's say you're new to the game. You're new to the game, so that means you're not good at combos yet. If you're not good at combos yet, your main source of damage will be throws. 100% of the time, every time. Right? This is just how people learn Street Fighter. They say, oh, I can throw. Then they start getting their throws teched, and then they start learning about frame traps or going low and this, that, and the other. But they start with throws. And when you are a beginner and you're not used to teching throws yet, you eat a lot of throws. And you're thinking, well, what can I do? And you're not thinking, what's the universal thing that everyone can do? You're not thinking jump or backdash. What you do is you go to your special move list. And you say, did any of these beat throws? And quite frankly, unless you have an uppercut, the answer is probably not. But what it is at low levels of play, throws and bad offense dominate. So you know what also is really good at low levels of play? Uppercuts. Just because they beat other low level players. Okay? It's a very common thing when you're learning a game to misapply those learnings to intermediate and advanced players. And that's what makes them intermediate and advanced. They've gone through the low level stuff, and now they're a level above you, and they know that you want to uppercut, so they'll knock you down and then they'll wait a little bit before they attack to see what you do. Or they'll go for a cross-up so that you have to change your motion. Or at least you would have to in Street Fighter 2 or 3.
Shots fired, yeah. Or
so, like, the thing is, when you have low-level players advising low-level players, they will tell you low-level things. And the common thing to do against low-level offense is simply to uppercut. Because low-level players aren't thinking yet, I'm going to mind game him. I'm going to hesitate and give him an idea that I might not attack so that, he might not uppercut this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's sort of like the blind leading the blind, where it's a scrub teaching you scrubby tactics to beat scrubby stuff.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this all came more, like, to the forefront of my mind when I started playing Cross Tekken, because it's like, I've just, like, started playing Able, and it's like, okay, I've noticed that a lot of people want to uppercut, not for the same reason they do in Street Fighter 4, but to get a tag. So it's sort of like, well, I'm going to die. I need to get this hit. So let me do my invincible move to make sure I hit him so I can tag my next character in. But Abel's Falling Star EX is invincible. So whenever they do an uppercut, they just get straight grab and they don't get hit so they can't tag as well. So that works a lot. And I can see more of not just the Street Fighter 4 players playing Cross Tekken, but just bad Cross Tekken players, where they'll do anything to not have to wake up and block and evaluate the situation. They just have to do something. Like, no one wants to get up and do, like, block or walk back or anything. Someone has to press a button on their wake up.
Like, that makes sense in KOF because there's a guard gauge, but there's no guard gauge in Street Fighter. People just don't want to deal with mix-ups, and I don't know why. It's stupid to me. Like, you have to deal with a mix-up when you get knocked down, but there's no penalty for blocking. If you continue blocking, you will either, be pushed away or your opponent will move forward. One of the two, There's nothing else about it that makes it mysterious or makes it like you're losing. Like, blocking does not equal losing, and it doesn't even equal disadvantage. It might equal frame disadvantage, but that's not precisely what I mean. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I understand. I mean, blocking to me is not as bad as, I mean, obviously there's certain characters can vortex. It's a little bit different, but yeah, I mean, waking up and blocking, it's like, right, what's the worst that can happen? You might eat a throw, but then you're back to blocking. Like, you're not going to be losing that much. Like, you're not losing much screen space if you get thrown again. Not that much. Like, some characters can throw you really far, but normally they throw you straight back down. So yeah, I don't, it's a weird mindset of like Street Fighter 4 players. Like, I don't know much about the game because literally I just played Bison. I did not learn matchups. Like, I didn't want to go, I don't feel like I should have to learn to fight other characters in the game. That's why I love Marvel. Like, we'll do another podcast, but I think Marvel's the most balanced game in the world. But yeah, we won't go into that now. But yeah, when I play any fighting game, I feel if I have to learn a matchup, that's like kind of productive. Like, I'm learning my character. Why should I learn that I can't beat this character because of such and such? Like, obviously you have to take into consideration, like, for example, okay, Bison's forward will beat most people's pokes.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't a Bison player, I'd have to know that, but I would know that from experience. Like, I shouldn't have to, like, watch loads of Bison matches to figure out how to beat him. Like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from with that, and that's actually one of the things I like about KOF is, the matchups are much more free form. There is a little bit of matchup stuff going on, as I said, like Maxima Kyo and such. But for the most part, if you're just good at making reads, you can play a lot of matchups very similarly. I'd be lying if I said you could play them all the same, but as I said, the system is the same in every match. Yeah. And so you can do similar mix-ups in every match, and you can use similar pokes in every match. It would just come down to how different your opponent plays in a game-to-game basis. But yeah, unfortunately, in Street Fighter and Cross Tekken, like, there's no way around it. Like, if you don't know which pokes they can use at which ranges and which of your pokes beat those, then you won't really have much of a chance at top level. But that's just the way the game is.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, like, going to the next bit, in games like that, you can clearly see what makes a specific character higher tier or higher tier than the opposing character. Where in KOF you're saying that most people are balanced, what do you think's like the bigger factor of a character being better than another character?
The big factor is extra options. It's extra options and ability to convert damage off of particular hits. So let's put it this way. Are you familiar with the character Mr. Karate?
Yeah, I think I know where this is going, but just for people that don't know, keep going.
Yeah, so Mr. Karate is who was a DLC character on console, but he comes with Steam Edition, just like EX Kyo and EX Iori. And he is like an alternate version of Takuma. He has his mask on, and he has a bunch of special moves. He's a completely different character. Takuma only has a fireball, and, like, that's it. All his other specials are, like, unsafe. He's got a command grab, which leads into a full combo, and then he's got, various things to go from there. But all he's really got at far range is a fireball. Mr. Karate, though, has a command grab which works from much farther range, and he actually, if he spends a bar, turns invisible and teleports to you. He does not have a fireball, but he has a very, very quick strike, which is invisible, and extends beyond his palm, which is good for controlling certain amounts of space. He has an air half-circle forward kick move, which he can combo into supers.
Yep.
He has an invincible uppercut, which Takuma doesn't have. And he also has, because he's very similar to Takuma, he has pretty much the exact same jumps and normals. So the thing is, Mr. Karate, if you don't know, is considered probably the best character in the game.
Yep.
And the reason is because it's not because he has the lowest top in the game, because otherwise Takuma would be there as well. The reason he's considered better, straight up better than Takuma, is because he has all these extra things that Takuma doesn't have. Now, there is an interior balance to the game. Takuma actually has an HD combo that does 900 damage, and all he needs is 1 bar. Most characters need like 3 or 4 bars to do that kind of damage. Takuma is like a damage powerhouse. And I don't know if this is absolutely true, but I feel like he does the best damage 4 meter in the entire game. But he lacks tools. Mr. Karate has these additional tools. It's somewhat similar to Street Fighter. You know, Seth has all this stuff, and Ryu doesn't. Seth is higher on the tier list because he can do these mix-ups and safe jumps and stuff, and Ryu can do some of them, but not all of them. But then it evens out in the sense that Ryu can do more damage in different scenarios, and Seth is sort of reliant on his specials. But the thing about KOF is nobody's reliant on anything. The game, as I said, was based around the basic systems. Every character, as long as they have a set of normals, they can anti-air, and they can move, and they can create offensive pressure, and they can do everything they need to do before their special moves really come into play. So having additional special moves that grant either additional gimmicks or extra wake-up options, like having 3 different special moves that are invincible on wake-up, one's an uppercut and one's a command grab, when you already have all those other options, those are useful in top levels of play. And they create a deeper mind game when you're fighting against those characters. But it's like extra tools and just ability to create damage. Mr. Karate, if he gets a crouching light kick in the corner, if he spends a bar and a drive, he gets 500 damage. Most characters would not get 500 off of crouching light kick in the corner for a bar and a drive. They're going to get maybe 350, maybe 4. Some characters do get the 500. In fact, Hua Jai gets more. But Hua Jai doesn't have all the tools that Mr. Karate has. And just for the record, Hua Jai is probably like 5th or 6th best character in the game, too.
Yes.
So it really comes down to damage output, because all characters can create offensive opportunity and they can all get combos. So it comes down to damage output and ability to use multiple tools in matchups, and just having extra tools that other characters don't have.
See, it's weird because the things that you're saying about KOF, I feel apply to Marvel, but a lot of people won't think it. The way you're saying a character is higher up on the tier list because of how they basically convert their stray hits or their hit confirmed into massive damage. Like, regardless if they're in a corner, blah, blah, blah. And with Marvel, I don't know how familiar you are with Marvel. You've probably seen a bit, I'm guessing, but...
I tried to learn Marvel 3. I played quite a bit of Vanilla and Ultimate, and I read both strategy guides, and they're quite excellent, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Brady.
Shout outs to Brady. But, I learned quite a lot. Like, if I were to watch a Marvel match, I wouldn't know some of the newer tech that came out in the last couple of months, but I know enough that I can follow the matches.
That's cool, because I was just going to go on to the bits where it's like, I feel characters, like, I think the biggest crutch against a lot of characters is comboing for grabs. Like, obviously, Dante has the most moves, probably, I'm pretty sure someone said, in any fighting game ever created. Like, he's got the most specials. But people still consider him mid-tier. And I feel it's because when he gets you with an air grab or a ground grab, he can't do any of his moves. Like, there's a certain point in the air jump where you can do it, where it's like 2 inches off the ground. But anywhere else on the screen, unless you've got an assist, he can't do it. And the assist scales it down so much, and because he does so many hits, he doesn't get any damage off of it. And I feel like that's the main reason why he's not considered high tier. And all the other characters like Viper, Magneto, or even Doom, like, yeah, they're good in general, but they can kill you from a throw. But saying that, so can Chris Redfield. But no one can see
I love Chris. I wanted to play Chris. Yeah.
I believe that Chris is really high up. I've had this conversation with CT, and I think it's because people are not playing the character to see how good he is. There's only 1 or 2, like a handful of good people that are using him. For example, LLND, he plays Chris, but he also plays Senko. So he never really gets that far up to play the good people to say, like, look, this character is really sick. Like, he's got some flame grenade is ridiculous. That move is, people want to moan about hidden missiles. Flame grenade is worse. I'm telling you that for free. That move is a lot worse. You can throw it out, the person cannot hit you because you can push block them into the frame grenade and kill them because Chris does so much damage. Like, doesn't even need to be in the corner like Doom does. Like, he can do ridiculous damage anywhere on screen. He just can't really convert from the air. But if he grabs you in the air, he can do the same amount of damage that he would normally. So it's weird. That's why I feel like Marvel's not being played optimally yet. People are just picking the easy stuff. Magneto, Doom, Phoenix, and characters like Firebrand, Trish, who have got unblockables where you just can't do anything about it. You can X Factor, you can have characters with air dashes, whatever. It makes no difference. If you're going to get unblockable, you're going to get unblockables. You can't stop it.
Yeah.
Unless the person messes up. So, to me, that's more broken than Chris G's Morgan Doom stuff. You can block that. You don't have to raw tag and loose half your life. You don't have to do that. But people I just think they're dumb. Straight up. I think everyone's dumb. But that's definitely another podcast.
Yeah, more or less I kind of agree. I think that there's a lot that just isn't happening because people don't experiment enough, or they're not ballsy enough to try certain strategies in tournament. Like, I think there's a lot of like preconceived notions as to what a good team has to be, especially in Marvel, and that people are sort of stuck in there, and that they don't like really go outside of it. Like, I was wondering, everyone remembers when Kusoru, showed up and like blew up Final Round with Rocket Raccoon, and so I'm saying, where are the Rocket Raccoons? He showed us what to do. Now, granted, maybe part of that was that we were bad against, Pendulum. Maybe part of it was we just never played a Rocket Raccoon who knew how to use the move. But the fact is, we know that Rocket Raccoon can be played, so where are the Rocket Raccoon players? We know if you put Chris first and you give him moves to occupy the upper quadrants, he does godlike chip and will kill you off any hit or throw. So where are the Chris teams? Where's the Chris MODOK Sentinel?
It baffles me. And then when someone like Angelic wins with Schumer, people are like, oh my god, and it's like, people from day one knew that he can kill you without an assist, no meter. He's like one of the only true characters in the one touch kill you on their own. And people have just like, oh fuck it. And he's probably got a better assist than missiles. He clears the whole screen. Yeah. Like, it covers the whole screen. What do people not understand what that means? There's nowhere on the screen where you're safe. You have to block. No matter, you can't jump away, you can't evade it, unless you get behind him. So, it's like, I really don't, and as for Rocket Raccoon, he can set up unblockables on his own. Like, to me, that is retarded. That is fully stupid. If anything's gonna be broken, it's that. Like, he doesn't need any meter, he doesn't need X Factor, he can just set up an unblockable if you decide to block low on his own. Like, I don't get it. People, well, I don't know about other communities. I don't know if it's like that on KOF, but like, I watch a bit of KOF, and obviously I see a lot of Benny Maroos. I'm starting to see a bit more Iori. Mm-hmm. Obviously Mr. Karate, I see a ton load of them. I see a lot of Anchor Shens. I don't know if that's because he's just easy or he utilizes meters like more than anyone else. Like, I'm not too sure.
It's a little of both. Shen, if he has 3 or 4 bars, is going to do at least 900 damage if he goes into HD. And the other thing about Shen that's something about his character is if you do crouching light kicks, if you do 2, you don't have a confirmed combo with Shen. You have to go into a low jab, or you have to link into his crouch hard punch, which has to be after 1 crouching light kick. So the idea is, unless you start with a standing attack, or unless you're going into HD, Shen doesn't have much combo ability. But if he does go into HD, he's going to kill you for 3 or 4 bars. And the thing is, his 4-bar kill combo is quite a bit easier than other characters' 4-bar kill combos,
definitely.
Like, Shen and Leona will both kill you for 4, but Leona's going to be charge buffering and all this other crap. Shen is just going to do quarter, quarterback, quarter, done.
So he's sort of like the Wolverine of KOF. Just he's played in the opposite position.
Just like simple, effective offense. Not really upper top tier as far as the mechanics, just really simple and effective.
Okay. Because I've heard Kim's pretty high as well. When I played with Kim, he didn't feel too high. And when I see streams, I don't really see him that high. But the tier list I've seen, they've always put him in like top 10. Like,
right. And like the reason they do that is because when he has 1 stock, there's a lot that he can do with it. Like on the ground, the EX quarterback kick, that's like plus on block, safe on block, and on hit you get a really easy combo. And it reaches like 2/3 of the screen. So it's like it's like Blanca Ball if it were good. Right. Like, I can just throw this out, and if it hits, great, and if not, who cares?
See, now you're saying that it makes sense why Pungo plays him.
Yeah, so like you can just sort of throw it out and be like, hey, I got it, great. Yeah. Like if it hits, you can do whatever you want. But if not, hey, whatever, I'm plus. Yeah, and then you can do something right there. His air Hangetsu-zans, like the light one, like the light and hard one, like one overheads, but one doesn't. But one gives frame advantage on block if you do it low enough, but the other doesn't. But the EX one is completely invincible and gives frame advantage. So like you can use that to like occupy the airspace. And the other thing about KOF, if you didn't know this, is you can do air specials during backdashes. So you could like backdash, and when people try to come in, you can do the air special, which will move you forward.
Wow. Okay.
Another big thing is, like, as far as just basic hit confirming goes, most characters get 3 hits to do a confirm. Like, if I do crouch B, and it hits, I can do, like, a third attack and then go into a special. Kim, along with a couple other characters, gets 4 attacks. Kim does crouch B, stand B, and that's all, a basic confirm that he can do. And after the stand B is when he does the actual specials.
Right,
so the idea is he gets extra attacks. He can do crouch B, wait, and if you hit a button, crouch B, stand B, and confirm off those 2 rather than the first 2.
Right, okay. So instead of like, obviously in Street Fighter, you get people and they've got moves that's moving forward, like say Cody. He can do a string and then do forward medium to stay within range to hit him with like a crouch light or something. So Kim's got that, but without the moving forward, he's just got better normals where he can hit you a lot more times to hit confirm or to try and frame trap you with.
Right. Well, the key thing is he doesn't have to move forward to do 4 attacks. Most characters, if they do 3, they have to move forward, or they have to do a 4th attack that's guaranteed to push them away.
Right.
Like I have to hop forward with Kyo or run forward with Kyo, or I gotta hit standing D, and that's the end of my pressure. Whereas with Kim, I could do 2 attacks, wait, and then still get 2 more. So that means that I have greater ability to do mix-ups at more ranges. It also means that when I reset the pressure, I get more attacks to continue pressuring you with. Also, he's got a meterless reversal. Also, he has one of the few 3-frame on startup reversals in the game in the EX up kick. It starts up in 3 frames, which is really fast.
That is fast, yes.
Like, there's a lot of characters that have safe jump setups, finger quote safe jumps, but they're only safe against 4-frame reversals, but it won't work on Kim's up kicks because it starts in 3 frames.
Okay.
So like safe jumps in KOF are frame specific. Like this is safe against 4-frame reversals, and this one is safe against 3. And then there's like 2 moves in the game that start up in 2, and those cannot be safe jumped.
Just full stop. They can't. There's nothing.
It's not possible because for you to safe jump, you have to obviously you have to be hitting while you're in the air, right? And then you have to land, and then you have to block. But you cannot block on the frame that you land in KOF, even if you empty jump.
Okay.
You cannot. Even if you empty jump and hold down back, I can hit crouch B the moment you land, and it'll hit. It doesn't even have to be a low either. It could just be a high attack.
I did not know that mechanic was in that game. Did not know that.
Yeah, so there is no trip guard in KOF. But the idea is, like, Andy's Neomax starts up in 2 frames. So if Andy's Neomax started up and you were on the very last frame of your jumping attack, then in 2 frames is when you land, and you cannot block on that frame. So
that's cool. I like mechanics like that. I don't want to say I don't like option selects because they are nice sometimes, but those sort of ones, like safe jumps, I don't really like them ones. I don't really like that ones. Like, I like ones in like Cross Tekken because they're not real option selects because you've got the option to roll. So obviously there's no real vortex in Cross Tekken. I think Abel's got one. But like he's got a ghetto.
Yeah, Abel's
vortex.
got one. Abel has a real one.
Yeah, it's not.
If you roll, I just light tornado throw. But if you don't, I can also light tornado throw.
Yeah, and if you roll, I'll just roll with you. I'll just Marseille with you, like in Cross Tekken. That's what I feel. So in Street Fighter 4, he wasn't really considered a vortex when it was probably the most like basic vortex. It wasn't like Akuma's Demon Flip or Ibuki's kunai stuff. But it was like, this is still a vortex for you. Like, this is risky shit for you. Whatever you do, I can do an option to beat it. You just gotta hope I pick the wrong option, sort of thing.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not a fan of safe jumps either, but in KOF they're fine because there's still 3 things you can do. Like, you can block the attack, but you can also wake up with a roll and try to test their reactions. Yeah. If you know they're going to do the safe jump normal, you could guard cancel roll that jumping normal if you have a bar. And that guarantees your safety, or at least puts you back at neutral. And then of course you could also, depending on the normal, like you could backdash. You could backdash on Wake Up in KOF. Now you're throw invincible and you're airborne, but you are not hit invincible.
Okay.
So the thing is, if you backdash the moment you get up and somebody hits you meaty, then you will backflip as if you were in the air.
Right, okay. Yeah, no, I get it.
So yeah, like there's multiple options you have even against safe jumps in KOF. And plus, like in KOF, you can safe jump and option select. But if you option select, you're actually giving the person you're attacking another option. Like if you option select a safe jump, then that means you cannot block, and now that opens up reversal, and it's no longer really a safe jump. There is no safe jump and OS. You can do a safe jump and then do an OS. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're still taking a risk by doing the option select, so it's not really an option select, because the whole option select is that I can hit you if you try to do something, but you can't hit me because I'm going to be able to block in time. That's meant to be the option select, but the blocking in time bit isn't there, so you're still taking a risk by doing it. I get that. That to me seems fair. Like, I hate games where you can do something offensive without taking a risk. Like, obviously there's stuff like Bison scissor kicks, which is safe on block. Yeah, I get that. But when you can just wake up, you've got 2 stock, do an uppercut and FADC it, like, I don't think that's too fair. Obviously it costs you meter, but I still don't think it's cool. I don't really like that stuff. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
it kind of promotes brain dead gameplay. It's like, just gonna do it anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, where in the game like Third Strike, it's like, if I do this uppercut and I guess wrong, I'm probably gonna lose at least 30% of my health. Like, so I might think twice about waking up and throwing up an uppercut. And with Street Fighter 4, that whole mentality is just gone. So I've got 2 bar, I can do what I want for free. If it hits, it's good. If it blocks, it doesn't matter. Like, and apparently, hopefully they said they're going to nerf the FADC aspect, so it's easier to punish or something. I can't.
Right. What they're going to do, if what they've said so far is correct, is they're going to make it so if you do an uppercut FADC, you're always minus on block. Like, most characters already are minus, but some are not punishable. So they're going to make them all at least -3. So what this means is, because a throw starts up in 3 frames, if I rush you down, you're Ryu, and I'm point blank, and I block your uppercut and you FADC forward, I can actually punish that with a throw. So you just lost 2 bars, and I knocked you down again. What this basically means is, if you do want to uppercut FADC, you need to go backwards. But what that also means is you might not get that ultra.
Unless you're Cammy.
Like, unless you make a read, and you, like, chose to go forward because you thought it was going to hit, it's usually not advisable to wake up FADC forwards. You should be moving backwards. This is going to make Sagat move up the tier list a little bit. This is going to make,
Cammy
things like that.
Cammy can do it as well, can't she? Cammy can backdash and get an ultra on, can she?
Yeah, she can. So the other thing is, it's not really a huge nerf for Cammy, but hopefully there are other nerfs coming,
Hopefully, yeah, fingers crossed.
Because that's a system thing. I would have liked it if they would have just gotten rid of FADC on block. You can only FADC on hit. Done. But apparently that would change too many characters, or people would complain, or whatever, so.
I can't, I'm trying to think, why would people complain about that? But probably because, nothing's safe anymore. It's like, well, okay. Don't do it then. If it's not safe, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Make that read.
Scrubs. But anyway, just going to wrap this up quickly. Last question. What do you think would make KOF more popular? Whether it be like a mechanic change, or a certain professional playing it, or anything.
I think it would be more popular if, like, it would be more popular if Street Fighter didn't exist, honestly. But, that aside, it would have to get some really huge top player support. Like, if Filipino Champ came out and said, "Nah, dog. Nah, man, Marvel. Trash game. Nah, man, I'm all about that King of Fighters now. Yeah, dog." Like, if that happened, like, all of a sudden, like, a bunch of stream monsters would be picking it up, like, I think if more top players just gave it a good word, gave it a wag of the finger and said, it's actually a really good game and I respect it. If they actually did that more often, because I know that there's a lot of top players that do respect it. They don't play it just because they don't want to learn another game, or they're happy with their current games or whatever, I can't, hate on people for not playing it. But for people to want to play it, they have to know reasons to play it. And I'm the dude letting people know that the gameplay is fine, and it's way better than the other games. But, nobody's saying, oh man, it has a cool story, or story mode was cool, or the trials were a challenge and I enjoyed them, or things like that. Like, there's not, I guess it just doesn't have enough positive general image in the eyes of most of the fighting game community. And I don't know why that is, but, that's what I want to hope to do. I hope to get more people to play KOF because it's a beautiful game, it's a deep game, and, at the end of the match, who's better. And that's all stuff that's important to me, And so, to make it more popular, I'm trying to teach people so that it's not as hard as they think it is. I'm trying to give people, the tools they need so they can go from beginner to intermediate, and then, I send them off and, they continue learning at their own pace. That's what I'm trying to do, but there are other people who are learning the game isn't a primary concern, and for those people, I honestly wouldn't know what to do.
It is a difficult one, because, like, I play cross second, so I'm kind of in the same boat, but I'm not, because obviously people like Justin Wong and Alex Valle kind of play on the side, but they're good at it. And they always say, oh, the best player always wins in cross Tekken, it's about footsies, blah, 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 blah. So it gets good press. But obviously with the whole, when it was released with the, like, characters on the disc, but you have to pay £50 million to get them, all that sort of stuff, it got a really bad, like, rep from the get-go, and people just, and then the whole cross jab, cross timeout, whatever they want to call it, for the first, like, 4 or 5 months, that game was just deleted from people's memories. People just did not acknowledge it as a game, even though it was a Capcom game. Like, it was completely shunned. But now it's kind of making a comeback. Like, everyone's said, like, look, this game, the scramble mode was the dumbest idea ever made. We're not going to do it 2-on-2 anymore. We're just going to play it. We're going to take it as it is. It might be not fun to watch, but it's a good game. And yeah. I feel KOF, like, because their top players aren't really, like, well known in, like, universally, like, obviously in most games you will hear Justin Wong or Tokido, especially Tokido, like, he plays nearly everything at a high level. But with KOF, you've got, like, Mad KOF, you've got Bala, and stuff like that, Reynolds, but not many people outside of KOF would have heard about him.
Yeah, so, like, that's the major, like, nobody really knows who's good at KOF. The people who are good at KOF are the people that have been playing KOF. I'm not sure how much KOF Tokido has been playing, but Tokido is also really, really good as well. Yeah. So, but, like, that aside, I'm looking forward to the future still. I think KOF's got another good year in it. I think it'll be at EVO next year. It's always a sleeper hit. People always enjoy the finals. It's always hype,
Yeah, it is weird because everyone knows it's a better game than Street Fighter 4. If anyone says otherwise, they've clearly been living in a box or deserve to be put in one because they're just talking crap. But it's weird how everyone bigs up the game, but no one actually wants to sit down and play it. And it's kind of bizarre to me. It's like saying, like, oh, there's a briefcase full of money over there, but I'm not going to take it.
Dude, McCain was a way better candidate, but I'm going to vote for Obama.
Yeah. Like, the mindset of most people in FGC is just weird. Like,
exactly.
Like, I've given you my reason why I don't play it. I honestly don't think it's really that good because I could go, like you said, go in depth and find out the characters before 13. So, like, I didn't know that King had was it a brother, did you say?
Yeah, a little brother named Jan.
I did not know that. And that's my girlfriend's name. So I should be playing King. All I thought she was a doorman. I'm sure at one point I saw that she was a doorman at a casino. Is that right?
No, she's not a doorman. She's a bouncer.
A bouncer, sorry. Bouncer. Yeah. At a casino, yeah? See, that's all I knew. I didn't know any other bit about her. So I will go back and look at, like, I did like Leona, but I will go and look at her. I will look at her past. I will see if I like her.
Here's a fun fact. Leona tried to commit suicide.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of sad. Ralph saved her life. Yeah, go read into that shit. Yeah, there's some cool stuff that went on.
That's deep.
You know why she tried to kill herself? Because she killed her entire village. You know why she did that? Because she has the blood of the Irachi. You know that shit that makes Iori crazy? Yeah, Leona's got it too. Oh, damn.
See, now you've made me want to put KOF in my console.
And there you go. Go play that shit.
I will go play that shit. I'll get bodied by the training mode dummy on stand, but I will try. I will definitely look into it. The main reason I want to play it is because I want a body CT. But that would obviously, when I do that, that'll make me see if I can beat anyone else. So, I mean, the community over here isn't that big that I know of. Like, there's obviously people. I'm on PS3, and I tried looking online, and it was the most barren place I've ever seen. Like,
well,
the tumbleweed
if you do have
had
the
tumbleweed
opportunity,
chasing it.
If your computer can play it, get Steam Edition. The netcode is far better. Far better.
Okay, then. I'll have a look into that then, definitely. So, it's not really a console thing at the moment.
That's correct. Just Steam Edition had brand new netcode. They completely rewrote it. It's not the old crappy netcode, so it's quite a bit better. But, obviously if you have friends that want to come over and play offline, that's cool. But if you want to play online, it's pretty much PC or bust right now. Okay,
then. But yeah, no, I'll definitely look into that. I'll wrap this up because it's been nearly an hour. Is there any shout-outs you want to do? Any things you want to tell people about, like your stream, what time it is, all that sort of stuff? Or is it a secret?
Nah, not really. Not much I want to say. Follow the Twitter, the Facebook, at JuiceBox_FGC. On YouTube, I'm JuiceBoxFGC. I got tutorials. Like, if you want to learn the game, look me up on YouTube because I have a bunch of videos. I've done about half the characters. I've created some tutorials for them. I'm still creating system videos. I want to do every character in the game at some point, so if you want to learn the game, I can help you. I'll also stream. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/JuiceBoxAble. Still haven't changed that Able out on the Twitch channel yet.
Are you planning to do that? Because I heard you that you don't really want to be associated with Able much anymore.
Right. I prefer to just be JuiceBox. It's just hard to get your name changed on Twitch. They're currently not changing names. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. No real shout outs. Just go play KOF. It's a good game. You'll thank me later.
Is there any other fighting games that you play? Like,
not actively. I dabble in stuff. Like, I picked up Injustice and played it a little bit. I want to learn Virtua Fighter.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it. Like, I kind of have Killer Instinct on my horizon. Kind of. I just like Killer Instinct. Maybe Guilty Gear XR. Maybe. But, like, KOF has got me covered. And plus, they've already confirmed they're making a new KOF. But that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was just wondering because kind of now you are just like JuiceBox KOF. So, and I'm like, you probably do play other games, but to me, I have no idea. So, but yeah, Virtua Fighter, I did not see that one. But yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, that's for another podcast. Yeah, so thanks to JuiceBox for coming on, asking a couple of questions. Obviously promoting KOF. Like, I will definitely say, I'll echo what JuiceBox has said. Like, it is a sick game. I've just got a really poor reason why I'm not playing it. But now that I know that this chick has tried to commit suicide and she's got some mad Orochi blood, I'm definitely going to look into it. And she's a charge character. And she's got mad air stuff. Like, her instant air, fucking, it's like Trish, I love it. So yeah, I'll definitely give that, I'm going to give that a shot probably right now when I finish this up. Thanks for CT in the background, like a peeping Tom, fucking curtain twitching, listening in, not making any noise, which is very rare.
No. I have to come in now, bro. Don't touch Leona. Go for someone else, innit? Don't. I'm not joking, bro. No. Don't
mess with CT's waifu,
man.
You
know what I'm saying, bro? Don't, bro. I've been
you never told me it was your waifu. If you said it was a waifu,
shut up, bro. I've been saying that from time. Even Darkus was trying to move into Leona.
We got him started, and now he won't stop.
You know what? He did well. He was quiet for nearly an hour. And
bro, you said you were gonna pick up the game and use my anyway. Yeah.
Well, now
the show's done. Let's end it there.
We'll end it. Obviously, add me on whatever, Facebook, Twitter, blah, 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 MIPC4IQ, blah, blah, blah. Check the Facebook. I'm going to put this, obviously in our brain analysis playlist. I'll tweet it when I've done it. And shout outs to CT for being the sole reason why I can't play KOF now because I haven't got a third character.